Be me, 44, city manager of mid-sized city in Arizona. Population 180,000, suburban sprawl outside Phoenix metro area. Salary $195,000. Appointed position, serve at pleasure of city council. Been in municipal government for 21 years, work my way up. Started as assistant planner, became department head, now city manager. This is pinnacle of local government career, most powerful unelected position. I run day-to-day operations, manage all departments, implement council policies. Hire and fire department heads, control $340 million annual budget. City council sets policy, I execute it. They're my bosses, but mostly hands-off. 7 council members, mix of conservative and moderate, avoid controversy. Mayor is Bill Henderson, 58, small business owner, been mayor 8 years. He's old school, focuses on roads and public safety, not much vision. When I was hired 2 years ago, council wanted professional management. Modernize operations, improve efficiency, attract young professionals. City has reputation for being behind the times, stuck in 1990s. I'm here to drag them into 21st century, whether they like it or not. City has 1,400 employees across all departments. Police, fire, public works, parks, planning, utilities, everything. Department head positions are key. They run their departments with autonomy. When I arrived, all 9 department heads were men, all white, all over 50. Classic good old boys network. Been here 15 to 25 years each. They golf together, have lunch together, protect each other. It's everything wrong with local government. It's why nothing changes. First year, I spend observing, learning, building relationships, but also documenting problems, identifying who needs to go. Fire Chief Tom Williams, 61, been chief for 18 years. Response times are mediocre. Department morale is poor. But he's popular with council. They're all friends from Rotary Club. Public Works Director Mike Chun, 56, been here 22 years. Streets have potholes. Infrastructure is crumbling. Projects are delayed. But he's protected by union relationships and institutional knowledge. Police Chief Robert Davis, 58, 24 years with department. Chief for 8. Crime rates are stable, but community relations are terrible. Lots of complaints about aggressive policing, lack of transparency. All of them are problems. All of them need to go. But I need cause, need justification, can't just fire them for being men. Start creating performance metrics, new accountability systems. Quarterly reviews, citizen satisfaction surveys, efficiency benchmarks. They're annoyed. They see it as unnecessary bureaucracy. We've been doing fine for decades. Why change now? That's exactly the problem. Doing fine isn't good enough anymore. Year 18 months in, first opportunity presents itself. Fire Chief Tom announces retirement. Finally, he's 61 and tired. This is my chance to bring in new leadership, fresh perspective. Begin national search for new fire chief. Advertise widely. Get 47 applications. Review them with HR and assistant city manager. 5 finalists for men with extensive fire service experience. 1 woman, Jennifer Martinez, 38, currently assistant chief in Colorado. She has 16 years experience, good credentials, progressive approach. But the 4 male candidates have more experience, more time as chief. One guy has been chief at 3 different departments, 25 years experience. In traditional hiring, he'd be the obvious choice, most qualified on paper. But I'm not doing traditional hiring. I'm transforming this organization. Interview all 5 candidates. Male candidates are competent but boring. Same old approaches, same old thinking, maintain status quo. Jennifer is energetic, talks about community engagement and innovation, about modernizing fire service, about building diverse teams. She's exactly what this city needs, exactly what I want to hire. Present finalists to City Council in executive session. Council is expecting me to recommend the most experienced candidate. Instead, I recommend Jennifer. She brings fresh perspective and new ideas. Council member asks, What about John? He's been a chief for 12 years. Jennifer's innovative approach better aligns with our city's future. Another council member, she's only been assistant chief, not chief. She's ready for the challenge, and we need her leadership style. Mayor Bill is skeptical. Seems like we're passing over more qualified candidates. We're choosing the best candidate for where we want to go, not where we've been. Vote is 4-3 to approve Jennifer. Barely passes, I got my way. Jennifer starts as fire chief. She's nervous but excited. She's the first woman fire chief in city's history. It's a big deal. Local paper does profile, breaking barriers in city leadership. I'm thrilled. This is progress. This is what change looks like. But the fire department is less thrilled. Firefighters are skeptical. She's an outsider. She's younger than most captains. She's implementing changes. New policies on community outreach, diversity recruitment, mental health. Old guard firefighters resist. We're here to fight fires, not do social work. But she's chief. They have to comply. Culture change takes time. 6 months later, another opportunity, Public Works Director retiring. Mike Chun hits mandatory retirement age of 65, has to leave. Another chance to bring in new leadership. I'm ready. This time I'm more intentional, more strategic about the search. We get 38 applications. I'm specifically looking for women candidates. Find 3 women with public works experience, all mid-career. Sarah Johnson, 42, Assistant PW Director in New Mexico. Lisa Rodriguez, 45, City Engineer in California. Amy Chun, 39, Operations Manager in Oregon. None of them have been PW Director before, but they're ready. Also have 5 male candidates with director experience. One guy has run public works for city of $300,000 for 8 years. But I'm not interested in the male candidates. I'm building something. I'm creating a women's leadership network in city government. Interview the 3 women. They're all competent, all capable. Sarah has most experience, best understanding of infrastructure. Recommend her to council. Same pushback as before. What about David? He's done this job for 8 years in a bigger city. Sarah brings innovation and efficiency, focus we need. Council is more resistant this time. Vote is 4-3 again. They're noticing the pattern. They're seeing what I'm doing. But I'm city manager. Hiring is my authority. They approved her. Sarah starts as Public Works Director. She's eager and hardworking. But Public Works is complex. Infrastructure is complicated. She's learning on the job, making mistakes, fixing them as she goes. Pothole response times get slower. Project timelines slip. Citizens start complaining. Why is it taking so long to fix our streets? But I defend her. She's new. She needs time to learn the department. Over the next year, 3 more department head positions open up. Planning Director retires. Parks Director takes job elsewhere. Utilities Director gets fired for ethics violation. 3 positions to fill, 3 opportunities to continue building. For each position, I prioritize women candidates. Not because I'm excluding men, I tell myself, but because I'm correcting historical imbalances, creating opportunities. End result, hired 3 more women as department heads. All are qualified, all meet minimum requirements. But in each case, there were more experienced male candidates. Now city leadership is 6 women department heads, 3 men. I've completely flipped the ratio in 2 years. I'm proud of this. This is transformation. This is progress. But I'm also noticing problems, small problems becoming bigger. Fire department response times are up slightly, nothing major. Public works projects are delayed. Streets aren't being maintained. Planning approvals are taking longer. Developers are frustrated. Parks maintenance is slipping. Facilities are looking shabby. Each department has its issues. I attribute it to adjustment period. New leaders need time to settle in, learn their departments. But citizens are starting to notice. Complaints are increasing. City council members are getting calls from constituents. Why did it take 3 weeks to fix the traffic light? Why hasn't the pothole on my street been filled in 6 months? Why is the park bathroom still broken after multiple reports? Council starts asking me questions in public meetings. City manager, can you explain the increase in service delays? We're undergoing leadership transition, temporary growing pains. How long will these growing pains last? It's been 18 months. Complex organizations take time to transform. Council approve these hires. I'm getting defensive. They're questioning my judgment. Month 22, major incident. Everything starts falling apart. Severe monsoon storm hits, flash flooding, power outages, trees down. This is when city services get tested. Emergency response is critical. Fire Chief Jennifer coordinates emergency response, but it's chaotic. Response times are slow, communication is poor, resources misallocated. She's overwhelmed, never managed emergency of this scale before. Makes several bad calls, sends crews to wrong locations. One neighborhood floods while fire trucks are across town. Public Works Director Sarah is supposed to coordinate street clearing, but she doesn't know the drainage system, doesn't know which streets flood. Calls the retired director, Mike Chun, at home for advice. He has to walk her through the emergency response protocols. By the time streets are cleared, flood damage is extensive. Parks Director Lisa is managing shelter operations at community centers. But she never ran shelters before, doesn't know the procedures. Shelters are chaotic, supplies are mismanaged, people are angry. Storm lasts 12 hours. Aftermath is a disaster. $8 million in flood damage, much of it preventable. 2,000 residents displaced, 15 businesses destroyed. Local news covers it extensively. Interviews angry residents. Where was the city? Why weren't streets cleared faster? Why did it take so long for help to arrive? Mayor Bill is furious. Council is furious. Residents are furious. Emergency council meeting is called. I'm required to present. Walk in, it's packed, 200 plus angry residents in audience. Council chambers only hold 100. People are standing in hallways. This is bad, really bad, worse than I thought. Mayor Bill opens meeting. We're here to discuss the emergency response and the apparent failures in multiple city departments. Residents line up for public comment. 3 hours of testimony. Woman whose house flooded. I called 911. They said help was coming. Waited 4 hours. Water destroyed everything I own. Business owner whose store was destroyed. Why weren't streets cleared? Water couldn't drain. It pooled on our street, flooded our building. Retired city employee, former Public Works, speaks up. Mike Chin knew every drain in this city, knew which streets flood first. He would have had crews pre-positioned, would have prevented this. But you fired him and hired someone who doesn't know the city. Council member interrupts. Mike retired. We didn't fire him. Retired employee. He was pushed out. Everyone knows it. City manager wanted women in all the positions. Experience didn't matter. The accusation hangs in the air. Everyone is watching me. Another resident. I'm all for women in leadership, but they need to be qualified. Our fire chief didn't know where to send crews. I watched them drive past my burning garage. Former firefighter stands up. Tom Williams knew this city like the back of his hand. 30 years responding to emergencies. You replaced him with someone from out of state, who's been here 18 months and doesn't know the terrain. The testimony goes on and on. 3 hours of angry residents, all saying the same thing. New leadership is unqualified. Services have degraded. Response times are worse. City is falling apart. Council members are taking notes, exchanging glances. They're seeing what I didn't want them to see. After public comment, Mayor Bill addresses me directly. City manager, how do you respond to these concerns? About the qualifications of the department heads you've hired. I'm prepared. I have talking points. All department heads meet the minimum qualifications for their positions. They bring new perspectives and innovative approaches. The storm was unprecedented. Any leadership would have struggled. Council member interrupts. Let's look at the data. She pulls out a document. She's done research. In the past 2 years, you've hired 6 new department heads. All 6 are women. Most have less experience than other candidates. Is that coincidence or intentional pattern? Feel my face getting hot. I hired the best candidates for each position. The best candidates, or the candidates who matched a demographic preference. Another council member, a woman, speaks up. I supported these hires. I wanted more women in leadership. But I assumed they'd be the most qualified, not just qualified enough. She pulls out the hiring files she's been investigating. For fire chief, you recommended Jennifer with 16 years experience, over John, who had 25 years experience and had been chief for 12. For public works, you recommended Sarah, who'd never been director, over David, who'd run public works for a city of 300,000. She goes through each hire, showing the pattern. In every case, I chose less experienced woman over more experienced man. This isn't about gender equality. This is about preferential hiring that has resulted in decreased service quality and emergency response failures. Mayor Bill speaks up. Do you dispute these facts? I hired qualified candidates who bring diverse perspectives. That's not what I asked. Did you choose less experienced women over more experienced men? Can't lie. The data is right there. Yes, but. No buts. Yes or no. Did you prioritize gender over experience? Long pause. Everyone is watching. I prioritize candidates who would transform city culture. You prioritize gender, and it's had consequences. He presents more data. Citizen satisfaction surveys. Overall satisfaction with city services down 28% in 2 years. Response time satisfaction down 35%. Infrastructure maintenance satisfaction down 31%. Shows comparison to neighboring cities were falling behind. Cities similar to ours have maintained or improved services. We're the only ones showing across-the-board decline. Another council member. I move that we conduct comprehensive review of all department head hiring decisions and performance metrics. Motion passes 6-1. They're investigating me officially. Over the next month, consultant comes in, reviews everything. Interviews staff, reviews hiring files, analyzes service metrics. Report comes back. It's 120 pages, devastating. Pattern of preferential hiring based on gender rather than qualifications. Measurable decline in service quality correlating with leadership changes. Department heads lack experience necessary for positions they hold. Consultant recommends immediate corrective action, including possible termination of city manager and department head reassignments. Council holds another public meeting to discuss report. Even more residents show up, 300-plus people. This time they're organized, they have signs. Fire the city manager, and we need qualified leaders. Experience matters, and stop the experiment. Resident group has started recall petition, gathering signatures. Not to recall me, I'm appointed not elected, but to recall the council members who supported my hires. That gets council's attention, threatens their jobs. Meeting is contentious. Residents are angry. Council is defensive. Mayor Bill finally speaks up. We have to make changes. The data is clear. The public sentiment is clear. We need experienced leadership to restore city services. Council member who defended me tries to push back. We can't just fire all the women department heads. That's discrimination. We're not firing them for being women. We're addressing performance and experience gaps. Another council member, several positions are grant-funded and require specific experience levels. We may be in violation of grant requirements by having underqualified directors. City attorney speaks up. That's correct. Several federal grants require directors to have minimum experience, which some current department heads don't meet. I'm sitting there, watching my house of cards collapse. Everything I built, all the progress I made, falling apart. Council votes 6-1 to restructure city leadership. I'm given 30 days to resign or be terminated. Department heads are reassigned to other positions or let go. Jennifer, the fire chief, is reassigned to assistant chief. Sarah, public works, is reassigned to city engineer. Other women department heads are demoted or leave. They bring back some of the retired men as consultants. Mike Chun comes back temporarily to stabilize public works. Tom Williams is asked to help retrain fire department. Citizens are relieved. Council approval ratings go up. I resign before the 30 days. Don't want the termination on my record. Put out statement. Proud of the progress made in diversifying leadership. Sometimes transformational change meets resistance. It sounds hollow, sounds like excuse because it is. Local paper writes editorial. Good intentions, poor execution. City manager prioritized demographics over qualifications with predictable results. Start applying for other city manager positions. No one will touch me. Your tenure resulted in recall threats and leadership collapse. That's not the kind of experience we're looking for. Apply for assistant city manager roles, department head positions. Still too risky. Everyone's heard the story. The city manager who hired all women and crashed city services. 6 months unemployed, burning through savings. Finally get hired as management consultant for small municipalities. $85,000, less than half my previous salary, no authority, no power. Just advising small towns on administrative efficiency. 1 year after resigning, see article about my former city. City services restored after leadership overhaul. All metrics are back up, citizen satisfaction improved. Emergency response times better than ever. They hired experienced department heads, mix of men and women, but all highly qualified, all with extensive experience. Turns out you can have diversity and experience. You just have to prioritize qualifications over gender. 2 years later, 46 years old, still doing consulting. Make $92,000, small raises, nothing compared to $195,000 city manager. See that one of the council members I worked with is running for mayor. Her campaign platform. Qualified leadership over politics. Experience matters, credentials matter, results matter. She's using my failure as her campaign platform. And she wins, becomes mayor, popular with voters. Because everyone remembers the flood, the chaos, the failures. That happened under my transformational leadership. 3 years later, run into Sarah, former public works director. She's working as project manager at engineering firm. Not a director, just a project manager, doing okay. Hey, how are you doing? Good. Working on infrastructure projects, staying busy. I'm sorry about how everything turned out. She shakes her head. I wasn't ready for that job. I knew it, but I wanted the opportunity, so I took it. When the flood hit, I was in way over my head. She's being honest, more honest than I ever was. The old director, Mike, he tried to warn you. Said I needed more time, needed to learn the systems first. But you wanted a woman in the role, so you hire me anyway. She's right, Mike did warn me. I dismissed it as resistance. I set you up to fail. I'm sorry. We both made mistakes. You gave me a job I wasn't ready for. And I took it knowing I wasn't ready. She walks away, back to her project manager job, where her experience level actually matches the position. 4 years later, 48 years old, still consulting. Get invited to speak at local government conference. Topic is lessons learned in municipal leadership. They want me to talk about my failures, be the cautionary tale. Consider declining, but I need the visibility, need the work. Give the talk. Room is packed, 200 plus city managers and council members. I believed I was transforming city government, creating opportunities for women in leadership. But I prioritized gender over qualifications. Walk through the hires, the storm, the failures, the recall. I convinced myself that diversity was more important than experience, that good intentions would overcome skill gaps. I was wrong, and an entire city paid the price. Q&A session is brutal, people asking hard questions. Did you know you were hiring underqualified people? I thought they were qualified enough to learn on the job, but they weren't, and during emergencies, there's no time to learn. Another question, would you do it differently? Yes, I'd hire the most qualified people regardless of gender, and build diversity through mentorship and development, not by putting people in positions they're not ready for. Leave the conference feeling hollow, exposed, but also knowing it's true. All of it, every word. I did prioritize gender. I did hire underqualified people. And when the city needed experienced leadership, they weren't ready. Now I'm here, 48, making $92,000, doing small consulting projects. Former city manager who destroyed her career by hiring all women department heads regardless of qualifications, and watching city services collapse under inexperienced leadership. That's my legacy. That's what I'm known for. The city manager who chose gender over experience and led a city of 180,000 to the brink of collapse. Still believe in women's leadership, still support diversity. But now I understand that you can't sacrifice competence for representation. Can't put people in jobs they're not ready for. Can't use a city as an experiment in social engineering. Citizens deserve qualified leaders who can keep them safe, who know how to respond when monsoons flood the streets, who have the experience to make split-second decisions. Gender doesn't matter when your house is flooding. Only matters if the person in charge knows what they're doing. And I hired people who didn't know what they were doing because I cared more about their gender than their qualifications. That's the truth, the painful truth. That cost me my career, cost the city millions, and cost residents their homes, their businesses, their trust. All because I thought diversity was more important than competence. I was wrong, catastrophically wrong. And I'm paying for it at 48, making half my salary. While the city thrives under experienced leadership, that includes women, but qualified women. Not just women I promoted because they were women. That's the difference. That's what I finally understand. 4 years too late, $100,000 salary too late. After the damage is done and can't be undone. That's my story, my failure, my lesson. Learned at the cost of a city's services. In my own career, because I chose demographics over qualifications. And called it progress, when really it was just poor judgment that collapsed under the weight of a monsoon and took my career down with it.